talking to Amanda today. She has something called Prague Integration Service, which is like a mental health support for foreigners. And she started this as a kind of a volunteering charity thing before COVID came, and alongside her job, and it was just supposed to be a hobby, but it boomed because when people are locked up, told not to go out and that they're all gonna die, and you scare the shit out of them with some crisis, then a lot of troubles knocks on the doors, like increased drinking, substance abuse, domestic violence, a lot of these things that the people who were scaring you about the virus didn't really care about. Nobody cares about that abused kid somewhere that will be paying for this for the rest of their life because we saved a 95-year-old somewhere in a pension home. So she told me about this, about herself. She has ADHD, attention disorder, or I don't know what it is. Yeah, attention disorder, I think it's called. Anyway, she told me about how that is, how she managed that in her life, and what she thinks about the corporate world, which she spent some time in, and where she thinks that this mental health support stuff is going. One good thing about the COVID hysteria is that there's more availability now. It's easier to reach out. It's easier to find those services. Of course, there's a lot of wait and so on, but it's more available. So that's one of the positive things from this. A little bit about the sponsors, guys. That's the Oat Bar Prague, Cypher Toa 21 in Žižkov. Super good for both drop-ins to eat quickly there or take away or order on Volt or Bolt. Amazing oatmeals with great toppings, skyr, homemade goodies and juices, coffee, and great atmosphere, amazing service. There is no coincidence that the Oat Bar is rated as one of the highest rated restaurants in the city. Then there is Alfred Jobs, alfred.tz. It's an app or a web page where you can set up a profile and a job board so that you get sent any relevant job that you might be interested in. And you don't need to be browsing tons of other pages and stuff like that. You can apply with one click for everyone, for every job. And, it's not like a typical CV database where people are selling access to you. It's actually private, so no one knows that you're there. Check it out, guys. Thanks. Okay, we are recording now, Amanda. How are you?
I'm very well.
Yeah?
Very well today.
How do I say your last name?
Mataija.
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 Yes.
Amanda Mataija.
Yes.
It's a Croat name, right?
Name is not Croatian. It's from the American soap opera Dynasty that my mother was watching while she was pregnant with me. And there was an actress named Amanda.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I got my name, Amanda. I never met any Amanda that lives in Croatia, so I think...
It's a unique, it's not a common name.
And no, of course not. It's a Brazilian-American name, Amanda. Mataija as a surname is Croatian, but Amanda belongs to other continent and Dynasty, yeah.
So I guess Dynasty was not super popular. It was only your mom that used the name. I mean...
In Yugoslavia, it was very popular.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember actually Dynasty on television in Iceland, and it was Dallas and then Dynasty and these soap operas.
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. I fucking love it. I love that show. I would always go home from school and watch it with my mom in the afternoon and always fall asleep. And my mom would always be, why are you even pretending that you're watching this? You're just sleeping here. But I love Santa Barbara is still on.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, welcome here, and
thank you.
I found you through a mutual friend that was actually on my podcast a few episodes ago. Kathleen, she's a clairvoyant, or I don't know. She reads tarot cards.
She does.
She
read mine as well.
Yeah.
Hi to Kathleen.
And what came out of your cards?
Well, she guessed a lot, primarily regarding my personality, and we were discussing about some my dating adventures and future about it. She predicted a lot, Yeah. Well, regarding my personality, she discovered that I am very much always rushing somewhere, and that I'm very much having a lot of things to say, things to do, and kind of always having my mind, my brain, always switched on.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I saw from that, the whole process of the tarot reading. Yeah, I found quite fascinating because it's certainly very unexpected that she managed to, guess it. So it was
But
it was a good.
that's the thing with this. Like most of the people who are doing this, they have something. They have some gift.
Well, I do think that there's a
yeah.
gift in a way. I'm telling you, I did not believe in that, but it was a very rich tarot reading, and I learned a lot about myself. So
But wasn't it scary? It's never
no.
scary to.
Well, I already learned and knew these things about myself, so I actually, enjoyed the encounter. And also with the tarot, there came a little bit of advisory from Kathleen's side, so it was also like a healing in a way. So that's what I liked about her tarot reading.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been a little bit afraid of anything like this because somehow that I find out something about myself that I either don't like or I lose myself somehow.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually, I was invited now to do some hypnotherapy, and I'm so fucking scared
When are you going?
in December, and I've already postponed it 3 times because I'm so afraid that I will come out of it somehow different. And it's not like who I am is perfect, there are things that I could improve.
Of course.
But it's still this fear of,
I get it. Sometimes we fear the things, that are deeply inside
Inside
of us,
us,
and we know
yeah.
that they are there, but we keep them inside because if they come out, it will be scary for us to face them. But from this we grow, so maybe hypnotherapy will do you good.
Yeah. But talking about that, actually, I went to therapy, I don't know, like 12, 13 years ago for the first time. And it was actually a big relief because the moment, first of all, just the step to go to a therapist was already, I felt like, okay, I'm doing something about my problems. And then secondly, I realized after like 2 or 3 visits there that nothing about what I was dealing with was unique to me. That she had like 4 or 5 books about it, and I was like, okay, so maybe it's not a hopeless case. Actually, there are solutions to these things that are that I'm challenged by. So, but I just often think that this step to actually go and say it's out of my hands, or I need answers that I don't have inside me, and that's the biggest step.
Yeah, that's true. I think the power of the therapy, especially this first thing when you admit, you say, let me go for it, let me try, and the part where you're actually relieving your soul and you're talking to a complete stranger who is completely objective. One thing is to say stuff, your personal stuff, to your family, to your friends, and so on. We'll always have a little bit of subjectiveness. But therapist, that person is completely out of our circle. Yeah, and just relieving gives a lot of, positivity. I'm talking about the first phase of the therapy.
Yeah, because I mean, if you go and admit your issues or talk about your issues to your family or friends, they will always have like an idea in their head of who you should be, or they are biased towards pushing you to live the same life like they do, or make the same choices like they do. But a therapist just doesn't care,
And they fear a lot about us, they care about us. Yeah, from that there can be some selfish, decisions on word from their mouth coming that are not so good, in the terms of giving someone advice or so on. So not saying that we don't have to ask them for advice, but of course that the power of the therapy is unmeasurable.
Yeah, compared to that.
Compared to that, yeah.
But talking about that, so you actually run something called Prague Integration Service, right?
Yeah, Prague Integration courses.
Prague Integration courses, sorry.
Yeah.
And what is that?
Well, it started by the name, as you can see, Prague Integration started as an integration course. meaning I wanted to organize workshops for the expats coming here and, helping them to know Prague better in terms of a practical stuff. In terms of finding a job, things to give them information about the health system, transportation, social activities, some basic language courses and so on. And then COVID actually, happened. Yeah. So
right when you were starting
this.
Actually
I started in February 2020 with this idea of volunteering project. And then the COVID happened and the meetings that are supposed to be in person could not happen in person. And as you know, the borders were closed, so there were not a lot of expats moving. That was the kind of showing me, okay, this won't work. Yeah, because people just won't meet. Yeah, so this is when Prague Integration started to transfer in more like a service for support of the expats, meaning that we started to do stuff connected with mental health. Okay, so it was more like stress management in COVID or relaxation in times of COVID, relaxation techniques or crisis intervention that we're doing with a company called Therapio. But everything was very on a voluntarily basis and for the broader masses in terms of webinars.
So not like an individual one-on-one session?
No, because I had it as a volunteering project because there are, first of all, I had a full-time employment in HPE, Hewlett Packard Enterprise. And second, it was COVID and I wanted to do something good for the community and I had extra time as well. So besides baking bread and baking normal bread and baking banana bread, I also wanted to do something that was my passion and my vocation as I'm social worker by profession. Yeah. So that's kind of the idea, rolled. And then later it become fully mental health service. Later I registered, hired people, and then I developed a mental health model.
So you built this. I mean, now when I checked your homepage, I mean, you have 15, 20 people in that are providing services.
Providing service, 23 for now. Planning 4 more by the January. Yeah.
So you kind of went from wanting to create a nice little, how do you say, like a volunteering charity thingy to run a mental health service for expats with 23 people in like 1.5 years.
Yeah, that was when people tell me that and people repeat that often, for me it sounds completely naturally because
just one thing happens after the other.
One thing happened after another so fast, it rolled so fast that I didn't even turn around and I had 23 people. And a lot of these people actually know, from before. And I had the luck that I'm in kind of this environment with the people who are really eager to work with expats and who are in mental health profession as well. So that's kind of helped me to build it. And of course, I'm here in Prague for like 6 years. I know a lot of people. So getting some other team members and expanding to more projects was also mainly to the networking part. So that helped me actually a lot.
And you're very talkative. So it's easy for you to network.
I'm very talkative, very, very.
And but I guess, I mean, obviously the target group of your services or the people that are using your services are primarily, I guess, expats.
I have some Czechs as well.
Yeah, but
coming for couple therapy, that's really good. Yeah.
But you would if you there's 90% expats.
90% are expats. Yeah.
So I guess the fact that you go from 0 to where you are now in such a short time. And I know you told me actually before we started recording, you're looking for more people. You have more demand than you can supply, right?
Now more demand that I can supply. It also counts that average counselor can, in this kind of, demanding circumstances, cannot take more than 10, 15 people because it's very exhausting by the nature of the work.
Work because you need to listen.
And some of them have teenagers, some of them have couples that, also require a different set of skills, more time. So I'm always trying not to overwhelm people. And I always talk to my counselors to take also time for themselves and to take care of themselves, because if they cannot take care of themselves, they cannot take care of our clients, you know. So I'm also trying to, you know, distribute, let's say, stupid word, distribute the people for the
pressure.
The pressure to different counselors, and by the different specializations, you know. So this is why I'm looking for also counselors, psychologists, psychotherapists, and I'm tending to look for the clinical profile now, because we have a lot of unfortunately clinical cases coming. So this is the situation now.
But I guess, as I was saying, I mean, it means that there was a lot of demand, and probably this was a market that was completely underserved before.
For sure. You can see that primarily because of the healthcare here in Czech Republic, that mental health care, you need to wait along. You need to wait along for the appointment. I don't know how it was exactly before COVID, but you needed to wait like 2-3 months for the psychologist. And now for the public health care, you need to wait up to 6 months for psychologist or psychiatrist, because 20-30% of the clients are also using medications. So they also need to get prescribed certain medication from the psychiatrist. So in that sense, you need to wait long. Okay, the problem and the point that comes now, it's the waiting lists are becoming longer and longer, and there are not enough of qualified people who work in mental health care in a public sense. And in the private, there are also, you know, long waiting lists, not so long like in public, but still people wait. And problem is that percentage of the counselors does not speak English or doesn't want to work with foreigners, or also finds the foreigner problematic, maybe far away from their specialization and so on. So that was something missing in this sense. I also, when I built it in my mind for foreigners. So that's how I advertised and built it. I wanted to foreigners to have like one-stop shop for all the kind of a mental health issues they're facing. So, for example, if I have clients who come for the individual counseling, but they, you know, they say, you know, like, I see the therapy is helping. I see also that I can drag in my partner for the therapy, or my kid for the teenager therapy, you know. So I was really happy that we have families actually coming and getting the, you know, the care from us. And we are trying also to have really short waiting lists. So people don't have to wait, you know, a few weeks. Although this is also becoming challenging, because demand is every week growing and growing. I have every week 10 to 15 clients asking for the counseling. And I even didn't touch the companies that's in my plan in the future, until I don't get enough of counselors who can also work for the companies.
You worked 5 years in HP, Hewlett Packard. It's a huge company. And what is it that makes someone like you want to do something like this?
Well,
I mean, and actually, you studied mathematics.
Yeah,
it's
high
as
school,
cold and unpersonal as it gets.
Yeah. In high school, I studied mathematics, and then I moved to university. I studied social policy. I was studying on exchange program psychology, and then I mastered in social policy. But I moved to Prague after my university degree. I was one of the expats going for the experience to move to another country, and I was on Erasmus, and I was always fond of traveling. So
where in Croatia are you from?
Rijeka.
And what kind of place is that?
It's a third biggest city, very industrial. And what I'm most proud of, it's very open. I'm half Serbian, half Croatian. So we were always, kind of being safe living in Rijeka, because in some other part of Croatia, there is not, such a welcome status. Yeah. And Rijeka is very LGBTQIA plus open as well.
That's a lot of letters. What were the last ones there? LGBTQ.
EA.
EA, okay.
Yeah, plus.
Sorry? Plus, yeah.
Yeah, I'm also learning the terminology thanks to my colleague Linus, who's also one of our mental health counselors. And living in Rijeka was for me, a good part of growing up. I was very much exposed to the concert culture, to, a lot of exhibitions, to a lot of activities always happening.
So it's a vibrant place.
Very vibrant. Unfortunately, not now, because a lot of young people moved from Croatia and also from Rijeka. They're moving, first of all, to study to Zagreb, and they're moving forward, out of the Croatia. Like since 2013, 2014, we have a lot of Croatians actually leaving to Ireland, to Germany. So it's a big, exodus of the people who
brain
are
drain.
Brain drain, definitely, yeah.
And but what is it? What was attractive to you about going into social work? I mean, and you're young when you start doing stuff like that, right?
Well, yeah, I was before volunteering in university. No, in high school I was volunteering. I was working in an association for disabled kids in teenagers. And then I found my kind of, the first, I would say, love towards helping and supporting. I really like that. And then kind of I started to think about, what can you, you're 18, like you want so many stuff. I wanted to first be a teacher, then I wanted to be an actress, and then I was like, I like social work, like helping and supporting people. So kind of I decided to go to Zagreb and start university in social work field. That again, on third year of my university, I stopped and I was preparing 1 year to go to Academy of Drama Arts. And then I did not get in, and then I came back again to social work. And then
so you were almost an actress.
Almost an actress, yeah. I like to perform. Yeah. I always like to hold the events. I like public speaking and so on. So it was kind of also for me natural to go in that sense. But I wasn't preparing a lot. I was mostly, having more times drinking beers in some student clubs and discussing about some, books and kind of theater plays than actually, practicing enough for the stage. And I kind of again came back to social work. Yeah, I'm very much of a bubbly person, also with ADHD diagnosis. For me, like I found every day some other possibility that I can grab, do, think. There are so many. I'm saying from occupation wise that I wanted to do from some daily activities that I think about in my head that I can do. So ADHD basically determines my life a lot.
Yeah, I've actually, like when you told me that you had ADHD, I wasn't...
You say it so sweet, ADHD.
Yeah, how do you say it?
ADHD. But
ADHD.
keep how you say it, I like it.
No, because when you told me that, I realized, okay, now, yeah, I can feel that. Because communicating with you is you're very responsive when you're responsive. You're very turned on somehow or switched on. And then when you came here now, I was like, wow, you bring a lot of energy with you.
Yeah, everyone says that.
But how? But that's the positive side, in a way. I mean, like that enables you to get stuff done, and you start a lot of stuff. But what are the negatives? I mean, what's the...
You start, but you don't finish, That's also, that was for me. If I'm not motivated by something, if I don't see the sense, I have to see the sense, at least 50-60% of the sense. Otherwise, I'll just gonna leave it, forget it, drop it, dismiss it, simple stuff like doing a task, for example, in my corporate job, that was really fascinating. Now I can talk about it. Now when I'm away from that, I would start a task. I work in sales and we will have to price stuff. And I will just click in the program, click. And at one moment, my brain will just, switch to other stuff. And I would completely forget what I'm doing. And I would turn on some music, or I will start, listening to some podcast, or I would stood up, grab a coffee, start reading book. There are so many, again, possibilities I could again find just to escape something that I'm not interested in. It was like this in school when I was a little kid, I would like finish a task that was interesting to me really fast, but something that I was not interested in. I would just, stood up and I would just leave the classroom, or I would jump, or I would bother other kids. I was always, very much distracted.
But when did you know that that you were different with this? I mean, because I guess, I mean, I don't know I don't know if I should even ask you, but you're younger than me. And when I was young, we had these kids and I was probably, borderline of this myself and we had these kids in our class, but no one had a clinical definition of what it was.
It's spoiled. It's you didn't raise him enough. Parents are, don't know how to,
discipline.
No discipline. You need to spank her properly, But my mother defined it in my, early age. She said to the teachers, she's hyperactive, but that is also something, you should also work with. And some of teachers recognize that and could handle that, but some of them, unfortunately, not. But besides that, I had like support from my family. I was the only kid. Yeah, I was a little bit spoiled. A lot of beginning. Now I'm just a little bit spoiled. But this hyperactivity brought me more positive than negative stuff. That's what I also see now.
But you lost 500 euros once in an ATM.
The 500 euros, mobile phones, keys, laptops.
So you went to the ATM to take out money, and then you forgot to take the 500 euros.
Yeah, I just I would forget about it because something else was around me, and I would just forget about it. And then, of course, when I came back, there was no 500 euros.
But how do you feel if something fails?
I was feeling angry. I was feeling angry.
At
now
yourself?
I don't feel angry anymore. Yeah, of course, I feel angry at myself. But now I don't feel any more angry because now I learned to say, these things will happen. It's normal. You have ADHD. Now, of course, now I'm medicated as well. And now I'm doing a lot of other activities to get me, through my condition, meaning I play basketball, I run, I go to gym, I do yoga, I journal, I meet a lot of friends,
And are these things that you just kind of learn through the years?
You learn through the years. It's very difficult because sometimes, I'll be judged by the environment, and also people are like putting labels on you. Oh, you're too much. Oh, you're intimidating. Oh my God, how much energy you have, This is all the things you hear and you think, well, something is not wrong. Something is wrong with me. Why are people putting on me all these labels? That's what we tend to do. We tend to put all these labels on people, oh, ADHD. When people say to me, yeah, of course, I know I have ADHD, but someone just being, energetic and hyperactive doesn't mean that necessarily has ADHD. Now everyone is
everyone is now
every scientist, everyone knows, doctor of science. Yeah. So I learned now to accept that, and I proudly say it, okay? And kind of I warn sometimes people, I warn now my team, when I calculate the salaries, for example, and we, do this stuff as a team, I'm bad with numbers, sometimes I mix the numbers. Pardon me, bear with me, let's do it together. And they understand, of course. They're also psychologists, they're in this profession. And we accept it, Now, with opening, I think also my own company, my ADHD also helped me a lot, for the drive and for the passion and for the energy. So sometimes I criticize myself, but I say, oh, Amanda, you have your company that's doing very well with your amazing people around you. Sometimes, you forget something. I mean, just recently, I lost in 3 months 3 pairs of headsets, Bluetooth headsets. I just leave them, and I don't get any more upset because, okay, that's me. That's it. I'll try to be more careful. I'll try to find ways, but if it happens, I won't sabotage myself.
But do you then create, to find the ways, I don't know, like this example with the headphones that you lose, that do you create yourself some routine or I don't know, I mean I
do now. I have special compartment where I put them,
always in the same place.
And for the phone I also have this little bag around my neck look like a tourist, but to put the phone inside and so on. And for that, this is this is a way to go.
This is you taking responsibility for your own condition in a way.
Yeah, and for the others as well, and I learned not to be in panic when I lose something. Also, I travel a lot. I tend to, I left my passport once in a check-in desk, and I went to the gates and I just forgot the passport, But also, we say God takes care of of the fools. I always get my stuff returned in a way. Like, I think I got a lot of stuff returned. Back.
But because I remember there is this guy, this comedian in Iceland, and he was actually also a mayor of Reykjavik, and he has this, and it wasn't discovered until very late, and he's of a generation also where this wasn't really let's say an accepted condition or clinically proven or whatever, and it was interesting to listen to him because he said that it's often when, like you were saying, now everybody is diagnosed with something. And very often it's an excuse. It gives that person an excuse to behave, or I don't know, not taking responsibility for it. Like he said, I have AIDS. But do you want to hear me say it?
Again.
ADHD. And he said,
$1 for every time you say it.
Correct. ADHD.
One crown.
And then he said, I forget birthdays. I forget, to call my friends when they're sick. But I shouldn't. I need to find a way to work with this so that I can function within the group of people that I belong to without making them feel that I don't care about them. And it's interesting what you're saying, like with the numbers, with the salaries of the people that work with you, that by making them aware of the problem and say, let's just do it together, you you did your part in a way. And it's an interesting thing because I think a lot of people that get like clinical or I don't know what it's called.
And even asking for help is in a way one way taking responsibility, asking for the therapy, asking for support, talking to a friend, a family, taking in a way that you want to work on it, and that you are showing the society, you're showing to, first of all, proving to yourself. First of all, the things we are doing, we always need to prove first for ourselves, and then to society, So that is the thing, That is also a way of taking the responsibility, asking for help,
Exactly.
Even taking medication for something, A lot of people are, that's true, taking a light antidepressants, and completely valid if this could, get them through the day and so on. Now I'm not gonna get to the point with pharmaceutical industry and so on and really fast prescriptions here, but in some way these medications do.
But if you think they're fast here, you should go to Scandinavia. I mean, they like you can't even park outside your doctor. He will throw the pills to your car. When I moved to the Czech Republic, one of my positive experiences was going to a doctor here. I do know, and I've realized now after talking to other people that my doctor is quite special. She would never give me any kind of medicine unless I'm, when I come sick, she's okay, go home. If you're still sick after a week, if you still feel this after a week, then I'll maybe give you something. She never gives me anything automatically. And what I like here is that, and maybe it's because people didn't have enough money for medicine in the past or something, but there is much more kind of common knowledge about, okay, if your throat is bad, drink something with lemon. Okay, eat mint, or do you know what I mean? Like there is more of this kind of home remedies. Obviously, with a condition like ADHD, then it's more tricky. It's just not a lemon drop in your tea. It's gonna be, it's something else. But what don't you think that there are certain lifestyle things or other...
That's for sure. I mean, medication is like 10-20%, I would say, but gets you through the day,
But
and
you're doing this, you're walking, you're running, you're doing all these activities.
Yeah, that. And also this helps me to, to nourish my ADHD. So it's medication, it's doing something I really like, and it's also doing the self-care stuff. So this is how in a whole package you manage it. It takes a lot of also discipline for all of this, because every day I need to, do something like meditation, or walking. Like I walk a lot. Now I'm going to walk back home from here. Later I may go for basketball, I'm just going to shoot the ball. But this is my, this is how I get calmer. Yeah. So, and also I get a lot of, good energy from the people I meet. I like to be social, like to be with people. But when I need my time to recharge, then it's my, self remedies. But a lot of people think that medication can save them. That's completely not, true. I am in some special condition circumstances and, in life situation that sometimes dosing light antidepressants can, do you good for some time. But it should not be something, primarily that you're determining your mental health status,
We're gonna want to talk to you a little bit about, go back to what you're doing and how COVID affected that and what were the main issues. But I often think about it like in your case. I mean, it must have been difficult for you to be in the corporate world.
Yeah.
With this condition, right?
That was a nightmare. Now when I look at it now, it's been like not even a month since I kind of left there, and I don't feel like, I was just talking to my colleagues today that I just don't feel like that I work there. It's so far away from me, because now I finally do what I like. I really, now I'm not saying anything bad. I like the company and the vibe and culture and colleagues, but the whole corporate system and organization there, God bless. I hope I would not come there again.
But that's interesting, because what you were saying earlier, so people are leaving, like your country, like Croatia. I've only been once or twice to Croatia, and I loved it. I mean, I haven't been to the coast or something. I have friends there that I went to visit, and we were in a summer house. I really liked it. It's a beautiful country. It has a lot to offer, but people are leaving.
Yeah,
and they're actually leaving to go into big corporates.
Because there are no big corporates in Croatia. And it's also the thing for like the starting job for someone like graduate like me. When I started, it was, good, and you have motivation and you have drive. And there's a lot of things that corporates offers to us. They offer us multi-sport cards. They offer us benefit plus, lunch vouchers. They offer us recognition points, flight tickets, this all nice pack, warm seat at the office, but also nice coffee and tea, but also long working hours and inability to actually be yourself fully. That is very hard for someone like me, because I'm very I'm very picturesque person, and I'm very expressive. For me, completely expressing myself there would make my colleagues think about that I'm not, disciplined enough or polite enough, or I don't know how to play.
I like you more now when I hear this.
Yeah.
You're politically incorrect then, or
Yeah. Well, if you say something like that, yeah. But on the other hand, I learned a lot of, business things there that helped me a lot with my company. But I also learned that I cannot cope with something like finding, yourself place under the sun while trying to, be liked by someone who is some decision maker. And that was a killer for me, that I have to go through the process, that I would actually have to, show myself someone in some nicer light than I am, and show that I can do this and that. For me, that was a nightmare. Yeah, that's why I did not succeed. I think my main point, but I did not succeed there, and I did not move in my position, because I always stay kind of truthful to myself, and I did not change that much with my personality and so on. That's why it's very simple to show that I've been very much okay with my customers and partners there. I really like working with them, and I was traveling a lot. But in the management structure and so on, I was not, most favorable cup of tea. And at the end, when I left in a good terms, and I really wish them all the best. And I left, in the same way as I came, being myself. This, did not change
you.
me. No, and that's why, I told myself when we agreed to leave from their side, I told myself, whatever world takes me and whatever this is, I'll find my place under the sun. And if it takes me to clean, if it takes me to bartend, if it takes me to do any kind of a job that will make me, put the bread on my table, I will do it, But I won't, change myself drastically, not being that smiley and hyperactive and expressive Amanda, just to get, 200, 300 euros more and,
But
better job title. Yeah.
I think in it's such an interesting thing because like we're talking here about you have built a service for expats and Prague is a city which is it's very much built around expats in a lot of the, let's say, the big international corporates that are here have they do employ a lot of expats, and I'm lucky enough to have been, since I was very young, I've always been at the top of every organization. I never had to work within the system. I was always at the top of the system. And I'm always so amazed how many people, how somehow those companies manage to get people to move away from their homes, from their families and whatever it is that they leave behind, and to work within a clockwork where exactly what you're saying, you're supposed to fit in, you're supposed to be liked, you're supposed to say the right words, you're supposed to dress the right way, and you're supposed to show a behavior that might not even be you. And then you leave, and you left nothing behind. You're replaced within
You're replaced
hours.
very fast. I was replaced by 2 colleagues who just shared my territory, and that's, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And there's never a statue of you outside the building. They won't write books about you. There's no legacy.
Yeah.
And I think about it like for me it's a scam. Like we take a lot of creative people, we take a lot of people that could do something by themselves or could, bloom in something, and we put them into this corporate machine. And then we try to whitewash them all so that they're all the fucking same, without opinions, without character, without flavor.
That's a package they sell. That's a dream they sell. Yeah,
But it's a fucking nightmare.
It's a lie. It's a lie. I also agree that it's a lie. I was last year on a job interview inside the HP, and one guy. Now I'm 31, and I was 30. Yeah, and with 30, I didn't see, like everything in the world, but I've been through some stuff. And when he told me, Amanda, you're very, very talented, but Amanda, you need to groom yourself. You need to be more corporate. You need to learn. You need to adapt, And that was, my wake-up call.
I would only tell this to my enemy, not to my friend.
Yeah. There was only the wake-up call from a manager who was like, 20 years in a corporation. And he poor thing, he thought that I would groom and that I will be corporate and then so on. Yeah, but he gave me such an amazing favor that was actually...
Confirming.
That was actually when I put down the phone, I was like, I'm just one step closer to getting out of here. And then I will now, not show you, I don't have to prove anything to anyone, what I can actually do. And he told me, what you're doing with Prague Integration, there's just local service. You're born to do more. And this is like, it was such a poor speech, I don't know where he read it on Wikipedia or wherever. Like, it was so bizarre. Yeah, I just hang up the phone, prayed for his soul. He did me a favor, so but not including that I met a lot of amazing people there. I think the corporates are now more. I hope they will more nourish the character of the people, and actually the richness some people can bring them to the table. But that's true. There will always be some order that exists there, some organizational structure, some rules we need to follow. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that in my mind, what is happening in the corporate world is that. They have all these policies about, diversity, openness, and so on. But actually, it's not real.
No.
I mean, you like someone like you. I mean, groomed. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, what is actually grooming? I'm trying to understand this. What does it mean, groom? Maybe if he listens to this podcast, he can say us what is grooming. But for now, I haven't, haven't seen Masa definitely.
No, it's really it's interesting. Anyway, so
let's go.
Yeah, let's go to so. And that's actually why I wanted to have you here. Now we've spent 40 minutes talking about all sorts of crap.
Yeah.
And
let's go to the real stuff.
Let's go to the real stuff. No, all of this has been very real. So what I checked you out before, like, and what I was curious to see is that as you said, like, your business kind of took a very different direction and took off when COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
So how and as we talked about, it's like 90% of your clients or customers are expats. So and here in the Czech Republic we had lockdowns, we had kind of like very drastic measures in the beginning. Offices were closed, people were working from home. I don't think we couldn't even be outside after like 9 o'clock in the evening, and you should only go out with your dog and blah blah blah. Yeah. How did how did you see this? How did this affect people?
Yeah, it affected the people, a lot. First of all, that was I think, just like a big, life change that all of a sudden your life is inside your apartment. Yeah, can you imagine? You're going to work, you're commuting, going to school, you are, hanging out with your friends, drinking coffee from your favorite, bar. Everything, it's closed. Yeah, everything, and everything is back to your four walls with your family. Yeah, a big switch for people. That also affects also the mental side, that people are, first of all, scared. They are uncertain. They fear for their health. They fear for the health of their family, especially if they have older parents. They fear generally for the society. Okay, because when COVID started, we didn't know a lot about it. Okay, after some months, it kind of gave us the story what COVID is, what kind of virus it is, how it mutates, what is the possibility to get a vaccine, and so on. But before, we haven't knew about it a lot. And then you see an expat being in a foreign country, besides taking him all of this that I mentioned, but also taking him possibility that he can see his family, parents, siblings, anyone, and it's locked in a country that's not his, where he anyway has more difficult access to the services, because he or she or they don't speak Czech. Okay, so this was something that I've seen as a kind of a extremely like problematic field that for my side required thinking that there must be some way how we can tackle that. Okay, so this is how I started, and actually pandemic helped me a lot to kick off Prague Integration and this mental health program. Coming back to how it affected actually people.
But you're so sorry, because I'm curious about this, like because in some way I often felt like I've been an expat myself in 2 different countries, and then I worked in 70 countries or something, like I've been all over the world, and I often felt that expats are running away from something, or they want something different than what their original environment offers them. And it being an expat also gives you a certain freedom away from expectations, and you don't have to go to every birthday that is in your home country, which you might be forced to do, and it gives you the freedom of choice. And so it's actually quite interesting that this group feels isolated from their family, where actually they might be running away from the family in the first place.
Yeah, but now they are put, in a 4 walls, and now, it's basically, the
They
same.
see what really matters to them.
Yeah, and also that. And of course, in this kind of a situations, we always, in the extremely difficult situations, we always want to be in a known environment, you know. So this is kind of what I would see affected also expats in terms of pandemic. But I also run away from monotony of Zagreb, where I studied, and monotony of my friends getting, married, and no one kind of not being the same as me, but not having maybe the same plans or aspirations. That's completely okay, but this is something that actually, like you said, expat life provides you. Yeah, so I understand also this point, but when we are in these difficult situations, we turn to what we know, what is comfortable for us,
because we are, as you were saying, we live here in a country where most of the information is not in English. We are a marginal group somehow, like I don't know how often I've picked up the phone and called somewhere, and when I say, please, do you speak English? And they just hang up.
Yeah.
Or they call me trying to tell me something important. I say, I'm really sorry, I don't speak Czech. Could you speak English? And they just hang up. So I guess when there's uncertainty, as you were saying, like we didn't know how does COVID transmit, who is really at risk, what's the probability of, getting really sick or dying or whatever. And then it's maybe natural to think, oh, I wish I was with my family, or I wish I was in a better, or an environment that I know better, let's say.
Yeah. Thinking about like, will borders open, and going to that point, will I, stay alive? What if I get sick? There are a lot of people. Who's going to take care of me? Who's going to take care of me? Yeah. A lot of people who approach us like, I have a health anxiety, or I have like, I see so many comments on the internet, I see so many,
You dropped your earring.
My €1 H&M earring.
I just don't want you to lose anything here.
It's okay.
It would be horrible for the ADHD person.
Yeah,
too.
you see? Yeah.
But so and that's I guess I remember that. I saw that in the beginning of the pandemic, and I didn't think about this, like there were people that live alone. They may be new here. They don't even have friends.
They just moved here.
Yeah.
Can you imagine yourself just move here from Iceland?
Yeah.
You start off in your new corporate job,
and then you have to be at home.
You're just like, looking for your onboarding with your new colleagues, but then bam, you're home in your studio flat. You live somewhere, I don't know, in Kobylisy, and you're like,
Kobylisy is the middle of nowhere in Prague. For those who are not from here.
For those who don't know, a little bit of Prague geography.
You need the passport to go there. but and then, as you say, I can. I don't know. I'm maybe not. I wouldn't have that anxiety because I've built that network here. I always know that there will be certain people that I could call if I got really sick or something like that.
Yeah.
But I can imagine this for a person who like, okay, so how am I going to get my food? I'm not allowed to go out, or I'm quarantined because I came in touch with someone. So I guess this created a lot of issues that came to you.
Yeah, that's a lot. And it came in a way that it just boomed, especially when we start to advertise it. And then I registered the company and so on. And then the name is self-integration, meaning it's some inclusion, It all kind of created the need, and people start to contact us more and more, First we started with volunteering, groups like group supports on donation, but then we developed the pricing model that is always still, acceptable for the expats. So we don't overprice our services. But I remember that at the beginning, like we posted in Prague Morning, we posted our support group info. I woke up in the morning and I had like 70 registrations, and I had like 4 psychologists. 70 people and I have 4 psychologists. Like
after one article, then I saw, the need is very much here, and I need to work with it. So I mobilized as much as resources as I could, and we started with the group support. But then in the group support, it's very hard to, build the groups if the people don't have the common issues, because then the group loses the sense. It's not one size fits all. Right. Then we developed the individual model, and then the partner counseling that has become a very popular program, especially with like, we have Czechs and Americans, Czech, Spanish, Czech, French, there's a lot of a mixed
local and expat families that come for the counseling. This is one of my favorite programs, actually, because I see that it's bringing a lot of attention, and also a lot of, how would I say, possibilities for us, because there are not a lot of couple counselors again here that expats can go to. And then we build the teenagers, and then the crisis intervention, and so on. So things start to roll in that sense. Yeah.
But I guess also, like in this, like, so in this case, I mean, this is just a unique event in some way. I mean, I think in my life, the only thing I remember is when we were being told that we would die from an atomic bomb, or like there would be a nuclear war. But it wasn't like every fucking day and some numbers in the papers and stuff like that. So what happened with COVID is that people are put into this, it's connected to the primitive brain in ours, and when we are fight or flight, and we are in a certain mode. Doesn't that, or have you seen that magnifies, like, I don't know, alcohol abuse, domestic violence? I mean, what happens then within those four walls when you actually lock people in there? What are the typical?
Oh, well, we were getting calls for abused individuals, both male and female, but mostly female were calling us. Also, like, very much of alcohol abuse, substance abuse as well, and then panic attacks, anxiety, depression, like from mild to heavy depression, suicide as well, especially for the individuals, like we mentioned before, who are alone, don't have adequate social support. Also elderly people reaching out, although they're mostly Czechs, but we have some expats, individuals who are elderly and who needed some help and support. It actually triggers, okay? I'm not saying that because of COVID, these things develop. They can, anxiety and mild depression can be exclusively the result of COVID, but there are 50-60% of the cases when it just,
triggered
COVID triggered it. Yeah,
that maybe the signs had been there before.
Yeah, and the signs, or even the problem was existing there before, but a lot of people were, for example, getting treatment in their home country, and now here, they didn't find adequate mental health professional. They were maybe taking some pills prescribed from the GP, but the treatment, they weren't going through any kind of a treatment, even talking about it, So you have to see that with the mental health here in Czech Republic, and especially, this for the expats, a lot of things have opened after the COVID, because now everyone's talking about mental health, but 2-3 years ago it was not like that. Right? Companies are organizing workshops, preventing, for example, burnout, stress management, employee assistance plans and programs. There are free webinars everywhere, now mindfulness programs and so on. This boomed, okay? This being because it showed us how valuable it is, our mental health care and mental health status and health, and that we did not take a lot of, actually care about it. I remember myself, I was also anxious because of this. Yeah, I'm very fond of it, and I'm going to the therapy for a longer time. But I've, when this happened, with COVID happened, I was also very, very much anxious, and I know that my anxiety existed
what happened?
before.
I mean, did that? I mean, how did it feel for you? I mean, did it make your ADHD worse, or
not so much ADHD, but just my anxiety? I was diagnosed before with anxiety. My anxiety got worse that I'm just locked, that I cannot see my friends, do my activities, see my boyfriend. For me, that was hard stuff. Like, my life is gone. I was like, oh my God, like I was at home, like my life, is gone. This is the end. I was also panicking and really openly say about it. I was very much in a panic. Short time, but I experienced also the panic. And my friends as well, like we were Zooming. You remember those like wine dates through Zoom and so on. We were very much in a panic this first period that was like first month or two.
Yeah, because I mean people didn't know, and nobody knew. But I'm just curious. You mentioned this, that people are contacting you about maybe domestic violence or suicide thought. How does that feel if I don't know, does someone just sent you an email, I'm suicidal?
Yeah, for first of all, when someone is suicidal, we always need to check if someone has like active suicidal thoughts. And first of all, we are not medical facility, so we cannot deal with someone who is suicidal and this person needs a psychiatric help. We have a crisis intervention line run by our counselor Gail Whitmore, who has been doing this for 20 years voluntarily in the Czech Republic and who's been an amazing asset. But this person who is having an active suicide thoughts and who is in danger for himself, for the others, or who is in any kind of a crisis, usually needs psychiatric help. So
I'm just wondering, because if you get that email,
you get
if you get an email, I'm suicidal, how do you feel?
Well, I feel it doesn't feel easy to read something like that, but I got used to that, I'm here and my job is to help and support these people. Not everything is in my power, but let's see what we can do. So I usually transfer them to our colleague Gail. So Gail handles those cases and helps them, sometimes even goes with them to psychiatric and helps them with translation and support and so on. So, or for example, sexual assault, also that, when we will help she will help for the individuals to go to police, for the ladies to go to the police and go to the gynecology and so on. And she's been really great asset doing this, independently for the last 20 years. So we cooperate with her. There are not a lot of these cases, but every, in suicide attempt or announcement and so on should be definitely, taken care of, and we need to put attention on it. So I immediately react. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, but it
feels difficult. It is difficult, but I do best thing I can in given circumstances. And of course it affects me. I'm human, but I know this is part of my job, that this kind of things would appear. Yeah.
Because if you wouldn't create that mindset in yourself, you would be paralyzed or
Yeah, I hear a lot of personal stories as well, when people call and ask for the help and support before I send them to the counselor, but they write in their emails, in the applications. I read about I don't have any reason to live and this is my last attempt for help. That's awful to hear, But if this is your attempt, you still have some hope in yourself, and it means that
there is
you
still hope,
see
because otherwise
something,
you wouldn't.
and that actually drives me to help that person. So that's why I have my team who's doing it very successfully. Others must sometimes be hard for them because they're also humans and they also feel. But that's our, let's say, profession. That's something that we
you chose to do this.
We choose to do this. Yeah.
So, I guess if we that all these problems domestic abuse, alcohol abuse, substance abuse, couples issues, depression, anxiety, and I guess also a lot of poor, physical issues that come with this.
That also become
and they are all kind of and then the isolation, the social isolation from the family, the fear of the disease. These are so many things kind of mixed into one pot, and it all magnified during COVID.
Yeah.
Has it changed, or or is it still I don't know, if it was level 10 after 2 months, is it level 5 now? Or or are these issues still there?
They are still there. People are still fearing about COVID, but less than before, because now they can see with the vaccine that things are changing and moving in more positive and less dangerous way. Okay. Still, we have hospitals also getting full, but it's not like last year. So there is, people can see by the statistics that things are moving. Yeah. But the mental health problems, they did not disappear.
No.
We just didn't talk about them before. Yeah, we didn't put emphasis on that. There were not so many like advertised mental health counselors, professionals. There's so many platforms now that you can see, like BetterHelp. It's very famous. People are, that's advertised everywhere, that online counseling and so on. Before, you did not have an online counseling. It was not commodity. Yeah, you have to go to your counselor. You have to see him, her for the session. Now you can just, click it and you're talking with someone, right? So I think the approach towards it, and also our acceptance that this is really okay to talk about it, and that mental health should be important and should be addressed and should be talking about, has changed. That's what I really like. And I talk with a lot of people and say what I'm doing, and they say, oh, amazing therapy. When I hear therapy changed my life, that's like, amazing thing to hear. Therapy helped me, therapy changed my therapist, so amazing. And when the client just write me an email, thank you so much for providing this, like your therapist was an amazing asset to me, helped me so much. I feel like, that I'm finally able to do something. That's, that's such a, nice thing to hear. That's such a, blessing for myself personally. Yeah.
But, so yeah, I guess this, on the long run, the positive effect of COVID is that people will find it more natural to seek the service, and the service will be more available and in different forms, because it had to be available in different forms. But on the other hand, also, I mean, the long-term effect of keeping everyone scared, and I'm for me personally, I'm most worried about the kids, because when you hear about someone's story, then it's very often that I was 5 years old and I felt responsible for my father, who was an alcoholic or something. I had to clean up my father's mess when he was drinking, or I watched my mom beat my dad, or and we're often talking about like minutes or an hour of a child's life, one event that marked them for life. And they are then dealing with it 20, 30, 40 years. Some of them never deal with it.
Some of them never deal with it.
They end up being a mess, Luckily, some people deal with it. Then maybe now, after COVID, there'll be, more kind of recognition of the need for that. But what I'm thinking now is like, I think, okay, for 2 years, we have told kids that they could kill their grandparents, or that they need to take responsibility for other people's health, not just their own, but we made them complicit somehow for some global health. And I'm personally really, really worried that this will have a long-term effect on those children, because I mean, I remember still when I was 5 years old in Rotterdam, and some fucking guy in a carousel screamed at me, and I was so fucking scared. This was 5 seconds of my life, but I still remember it. I'm 48. It's like 44 years ago or 43 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So now we created this traumatic situation for all these children and young people. Don't you think that, you will have to have 2,500 people working for you in just 10 years from now?
Well, there will be certainly growth of the number of the people, but also I think that not a lot of people will still ask for help. Not everyone would ask for help. And I hope so that, and also from that percentage, I think that they could be potentially, treated in a younger age. Yeah. Or they could be, put in a kind of a maybe different kind of a, therapies, maybe not just in a way of a speaking therapy and so on. And that parents should also be the one that we have to educate the parents, to help the kid get through this traumatic, experience. If parent is not actually causing it. Yeah. So I see the growth in the mental
demand,
health, the demand. Yeah. And I see, and sometimes I'm scared. That's true. I will admit you. Sometimes I'm scared when I see how many people are reaching out, and will I have enough counselors and so on. But that will be like every kind of a service. You will need to wait. You will probably then need to wait for this as well. Because before you could get easily access to, in the private sense, you could easily access to the mental health counselor. And with the public healthcare, it's a little bit different. But now, even with private, you need to wait. Even with going through some, examination and so on, now you also need to wait longer, right? Because the appearance of the new diseases that is coming, and specializations also in medical profession is just growing. And yes, there are more of them, right? But we will have to, we have to still wait, because I know now when I will go for a checkup, I certainly have like 2-3 weeks to wait. Even I will mostly use the private healthcare. I have to, be put on a waiting list. So that will be our future, yeah. Or you will, have to invest more. You will have to invest more.
Yeah, I don't know. I just find this really. I think the long term. I personally think that the long term effect will be the most on the children. Because
that has sense,
because they don't have the ability to process this in a logical way, and we are very exposed to fear when we are young. And to be made responsible for someone's death must be one of the worst ideas that a kid gets into their head.
That's for sure. But this is something that should be communicated for them, and also from the home, from the school, and so on. This should be something that can be openly discussed. But with them. I hope that this is happening also in schools. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's I'm not sure, because I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure as well.
I don't want to insult all the school teachers who are listening to this, but I actually feel that they are probably some of the most scared people, because they're meeting a group of 20-30 kids every day, and they spend hours in the classroom. And it doesn't seem to matter to those teachers that they're not even in risk group themselves. They seem to be scared. So I don't know. I mean, we can solve that here. It will be a booming business in the future. I'm sure about that. Treating kids that are traumatized from being told that they could kill people when they were 5 years old or something. Yeah, it's not even funny, but yeah. But there's one thing also that you told me that has happened in this, is that big companies are kind of, let's say, bringing mental health into
on the table,
and offering it's going to be part of kind of the, I don't know what you call it, like a privilege, no, like benefits, benefit,
or they pay for your therapy in terms of directly paying for the service, or they have some fixed rate that they pay per employee, or they hire someone in-house to do stuff for them, especially like a big corporate can allow.
And the awareness about this has been growing with COVID, I guess.
Yeah, awareness is still growing. I think also in Czech Republic it started to grow more and more. Czechs have unique tendency to resell stuff, in hospoda with beer, but I think also now they're like putting more emphasis on their mental health care also in Czech companies, not just in international companies. So I see development in that sense.
So that's a positive thing, because I mean, if those horrible faceless corporations that we spend our lives working for become a little bit better by offering us some remedy to our issues, then that's a positive thing, because usually that means that you need to wait less and there'll be more availability, etc., etc. But will we have enough therapists? I mean.
Well, that depends also on do we have enough doctors nowadays?
I don't know.
Yeah, not so much.
Oh.
Yeah, like they're always missing. Yeah, doctors are always, the medical professionals are always missing, Or they're going for the better opportunities. Will government put more subvention, pay higher, hire more people in the mental health care as a part of the public system? We don't know. No. For now, they're not investing a lot in the public healthcare system.
What did you do? What are your coping mechanisms? Like you said you shoot basketballs.
Yeah, sometimes I shoot balls.
You walk.
I walk a lot. I read. I also listen to. Now I'm trying to understand more about crisis intervention. Believe it or not, that's also my remedy. I like to learn about it. I'm really interested in that. I like to party. I like to,
But what did you do
dance.
more of? What did you like when COVID started and everything kind of went upside down? When you kind of, let's say, found yourself after the initial time?
I did stuff for my company. That was my go-to, yeah. And I did yoga. I walked a lot with my flatmate. We were walking a lot. That kind of, helped us when even we couldn't, you can just walk in your neighborhood. We were, we'd walk. We really needed to, to get this energy out. And of course, like what I do now is just like, I like to travel alone. Like that's my thing. My biggest, medicine is to travel alone. So I went alone to New Zealand 2 years ago. And now I'm going to Costa Rica and Panama also alone for a month and something. And that's just time for myself, when I'm not around people, that I'm so often around people. Now I have my, time for myself. When I decide will I be with people or not.
Yeah, you can make that choice. But I'm thinking more like let's say what I was trying to get from you is what are 3-4 good advices for people that are, how do you say, still affected by this COVID? They still, I don't know, can't travel or whatever. I mean, so what?
Yeah, traveling.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, to limit their exposure to the news. Like don't read the news. Read the news with the checked sources. Check the source. Don't read the comments of the people. Second of all, really find something that you like to do, something that you always wanted but you didn't do it. Third of all, like spend time, like fresh air. That's true. Like fresh air, like walk, do any kind of activity that makes you happy, and create a routine for it. Yeah. And fourth of all is just, like ask for help when it's needed, because it's worth it, and it can really change your life. And I know it's not for free most of the time, but investing in it can bring you long-term, benefits.
I don't think anybody asked for help and came out worse.
Yeah.
I think everybody came out a little bit better.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because, what you're saying is be human, and exercise, take care of yourself, do something that gives you a reward, communicate, ask for help. This is all being human. Now, when COVID started, it's the first time, I think, in medical history where anybody advises you to stay inside, order your fast food. I mean, of course, they didn't tell you to order fast food, but that was kind of the easiest way. And
this is a restaurant, actually. From Volt.
Don't get sunlight. Don't get fresh air. Don't go to the gym. This went against everything that my doctors have been telling me my whole life. They've been telling me to stop smoking, eat healthier, sleep better, exercise, get sunlight. Do you think that is it the right thing to try to lock humans away from each other?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Like, the limits should exist, but the radical and drastic how it was, it very much affected us in a way, and we're always gonna remember it, and it will affect us, like you said. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I think we're good. Kind of like I wanted to get you to tell me those hints, and where will your company go? I mean, what do you, if you think, I don't know, it's very corporate to ask, and maybe you should be a little bit more groomed. No, but what if you think 5 years? I mean, I know when you have a company of your own, you don't think 5 years. You think 5 weeks or 5 months or something. But where do you think? Where can you imagine it going?
Well, I always wanted to stay for the. I wanted it to stay for the expats at the beginning, but I would also like to help also support the locals, and I would also like to have departments, in some
different
other, maybe in different countries. Maybe I was thinking about going to the countries to have also like high number of the expats and creating some uniqueness there in some cities like, Berlin or Budapest, or Bratislava.
Or Vienna or
I also want to engage more in specific programs connected with the crisis intervention that we are now developing, And of course, now we'll go to the companies, and I want to, to offer some specific programs for the companies, very practical, connected with mental health. I see that. Maybe, now exactly, I don't know what will be in 2-3 years, but then for the next year, my go-tos are companies and organizations. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's one of the positive things about that what COVID brought is maybe more awareness and more availability of the service, and let's just hope that we have enough people to answer all those needs.
Yeah, I truly hope so.
forward.
But that also the lack of the people is also getting us to there when everyone is, kind of being an expert. They finishing some few days course and they call themselves a life coach or something. So it's really important for the people to distinguish that, who is a trained mental health professional, who is some, instant coach from Coursera. So, yeah.
But I guess also with that, I mean, like, it depends on the seriousness of your issues. I mean,
For
sometimes, as you said before, sometimes it can be enough to talk to a friend.
Enough, yeah.
But when you have real problems, then you need to go and get real help.
Yeah.
You have a rabbit.
Yes.
What's his or her name?
Very creative. She's called Zečica, and it means bunny in Croatian. Creativity points.
How do you manage to create, like, bunny is a relatively simple word.
Yeah, but Zečica means baby girl, like girl bunny.
Girl
she's
bunny.
a girl, yeah.
Okay. You take her out, or?
Once I took her out on a little leash, and we saw a big dog coming, so we just went back to to the building. Yeah, she runs away around the house. She chews cables.
Okay.
And chargers and sweaters.
So when something disappears at home, it can be either you lost it or she ate it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Where can people follow Prague Integration?
They can follow on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn, or simply visit our site.
Okay, I will put all the links to the episode
that
description.
Will be really amazing.
And I don't know if you want to promote any of your personal accounts or something like that, then I'll put that in as well.
Yeah, sure. We can work with that as well.
So, Amanda, I think, it's been great to have you. Very interesting. Went completely differently from what I wanted it to be. But I think it was fine.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I'm glad that
Bye-bye.
I was here.
Yeah,
Thank
bye-bye.
you very much. Goodbye.